viewers, welcome to Sahara TV. I am Njeri Mbure, and with me here in the studio is David Mugo. He is a Kenyan social media and technology specialist. He is also the chairman of the Wikimedia Kenya Board, and he was among the speakers who came to attend the Wikimedia 2012, which was held at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., right? Yes. So welcome to the studio, David.
Thank you very much.
All right. So first of all, you did your presentation at the conference, the annual conference of the Wikipedia. Can you tell us what your presentation was?
My presentation was titled The African Story. And I came up with the presentation because I felt that Africa is not well represented, generally in the media, the world media, and more so Wikipedia. And since I'm a big part of Wikipedia in Africa, I decided I needed to come up with a talk that would tell people what to do and how to do it in terms of getting better and relevant content about Africa on Wikipedia.
All right.
Yes, so basically that's what my talk was about.
All right. And as I saw your presentation on the African story, I could tell you are coming from various stereotypes that people have about Africa. The fact that we live in huts, animals cross the street, and a lot more on that. But as you went on, I could tell that you really wanted to give, like you've said, an African story given by an African, right?
Yes.
And that's why you guys came up with the Wikimedia chapter, and you've told me it's 3 months old.
Yes.
Can you just tell us the process that it took to come up with this?
Well, we've been volunteers for over 2 years.
All right.
We've been doing lots of things, including editing and adding content to Wikipedia. We're a group of about 70 people right now. And we have projects that we've worked on even before we watched an official chapter of Wikimedia. And one of the projects we worked on is a school project where we've taken the Kenya school syllabus and converted it into a wiki, and then again made it available offline, which means without an internet connection you can still get through to it. And it's very useful for research and studies for both students and teachers.
Okay.
So basically we've been working on it, and we now being recognized as an official chapter gives us a bigger advantage, because now we can go ahead and create more volunteers, associate with NGOs and government in execution of what we want to do to achieve our mission.
All right.
Yeah.
And with time, we know that people can actually create and add content to Wikipedia. So what are you doing in terms of giving the people who come and they are on Google, they want to look for information on Wikipedia, what is it that can make it more authentic?
Well, I agree with you that some people will create content to try and advertise themselves or their companies. But Wikipedia actually has policies that keep off such people. If you try to write an article about yourself today, it'll be deleted.
True.
Because we have certain guidelines that are taken care of to ensure that we have authentic and content that is not either even politically aligned to a specific side, and so there are guidelines that keep Wikipedia content from advertisement and biased content.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, and Nairobi recently has been in the news for becoming very technologically savvy. Innovation is becoming a thing of everyday life in Nairobi. So what do you think has contributed to this?
One, I'd say the government's formation of the Kenya ICT Board was a huge step.
All right.
And the Kenya ICT Board has taken it into their hands to create the gap, to fill up the gap that was there between technology and Kenyans.
Yeah.
And with one of the things that the Kenya ICT Board does is the creation of digital content.
Okay.
In fact, my friend Kaburo Kobia is heading that project.
Okay.
And she's actually a very helpful figure in even what we're doing as Wikimedia. And I'm also involved in a WordPress user group. Okay. I organize a yearly conference called WordCamp. It's actually an international conference, but I do the Kenyan chapter as well.
All right.
And the Kenya ICT Board is helpful in terms of in support, and also they have grants that they've been giving to people who have innovative ideas, and so that number one, has been a big contributor. The other thing that has contributed to the growth is the fiber connectivity. So the speed, the data speeds are faster, and the cost is less. So there's more people with access to the internet. The mobile industry as well has contributed heavily to that.
Yeah, true.
Because again, we have a lot of people doing a lot of things on their mobile phones, either via the internet or just basic text services.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which leads me to ask this question in terms of the digital divide, because of course we have the people who, I might have a phone, I'm in Kenya, yes, but I probably won't be able to access the internet. But that creates a very digital divide in terms of we have people who have more information and some who have less, and some are even using it, like I saw from your presentation, Chief Karaoke, with fighting the crime and everything. What are we looking at in terms of solving such a problem? Can we come up with a bridge to gap this?
Well, I can say in terms of information, there's people who need some information, and there's people who don't actually need it. So I would say that one, the fact that there's more cell phones everywhere in the country means there's a channel of transmitting that information. So the other thing is getting the people, to know how to use this technology.
True.
So because I could have a phone, actually I would say a lot of people with smartphones don't even use them to the half of what they can do.
Yeah.
Probably because there's no need or because they don't know. So the difference is usually how innovative can you get, because we have, if you look at the case of Chief Karaoke, he's getting to people on Twitter.
Yeah.
But using Twitter, but getting to the people who've never been on Twitter. They don't know anything about Twitter, but he's able to communicate to them through Twitter. Yeah. Basically, he doesn't go and tell them, go online and sign up for Twitter. He will tell them, send a text message to this number.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to explain that you're actually signing up to Twitter updates. But eventually what he does is that he has a channel that he's able to communicate all his messages to a lot of villagers.
All right.
So he's made actually a big story. He's been on every big media.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, wow, this is very interesting. Which is also a reason why we've also come up with websites to fight corruption. Like I paid a bribe, and I know it's not only in Kenya. I've seen that India is also using the same kind of technology. Do you think that the internet, the website, and the social media, they can be used to fight corruption in Africa, especially in countries like Nigeria, where corruption is one of the things that is bringing the country down?
Well, I would say both yes and no.
Why?
Yes, if there was an actual, the bodies that are directly involved in fighting or prosecuting corruption cases, if they went ahead and depended on this information from the public that is coming through these websites. Yes, there's a channel that, I am able to sign up and send information about I paid a bribe at this point, but where will that go? If that information is not used elsewhere, to take action or to further be investigated, then again, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
So I would say it's a challenge to both, while the public and the social media world is trying to participate in that. I think also governments and the bodies that are directly involved in that should also be involved. And I would say also the civil society, NGOs that push for governance and proper governance should be involved in making sure that the government actually uses such information.
Right.
So yes, it can work, but it's not, right now it's not really working how it's supposed to be, because I don't think the governments are using those channels of information. Yeah,
but if they used it, it would actually work.
It would really work.
But now it's not, because they're not using it.
Yes.
All right. Okay, and you told us that there are 2 Wikimedia chapters in Africa, which I know about Kenya. Which is the other country?
South Africa.
And what is it going to take for these other countries to also get on board and be able to contribute to Wikimedia in terms of giving their content?
Well, number one, even without having a chapter, they can still contribute.
Okay.
What a chapter is more of an administrative body that is able to run independent projects, even outside the Wikimedia Foundation, but still within the scope of Wikipedia.
Okay.
So the other countries can still contribute, but the process of being a chapter is actually totally decided by the Wikimedia Foundation, because it's actually being, it's more like if you had a business here,
yeah,
and somebody wants a franchise or a branch somewhere else, they have to keep to your guidelines. So but it's not hard to do that. It's just having a group that is willing to participate and actually be there full time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have so many apps coming up, and I know you are a technology specialist. So in Africa, in terms of innovation, where do you see us going? Do we have hope? Because most of them are not African, unfortunately, but we know that some students are coming up with very good apps. So where do you see us in maybe a few years to come?
I'd like to correct you.
Yes.
We are doing very well. I'd say with the resources that we have, within the last maybe 3 or 4 years, Kenya specifically, I'm not too sure about other countries, but Kenya specifically, we have done big things. Kenya is proudly the innovator of the biggest mobile money transfer in the world.
Yeah, M-Pesa. Yeah, true.
We have software like Ushahidi, which is also, I think, the biggest crowdsourcing, crowd mapping information.
Okay.
Ushahidi has been used worldwide. And it's made in Kenya. It was actually made as a result of what was the post-election violence in Kenya.
True.
A group of Kenyans came together and decided, maybe we should, find a way of mapping what is happening and where it's happening.
Yeah.
And that's how Ushahidi came up. And now it's one of the biggest software companies in Kenya.
True.
Yeah.
And we also have iHub.
The iHub, actually, yeah. There's a lot of initiatives like the iHub, actually. It's not just iHub. A lot of people know about the iHub.
Yeah.
But there's the iHub, there's the NILAB, which is actually on the same floor as the iHub. There's the Power 254, which is basically for creatives.
Okay.
And they've actually been really involved in political activism. I know you know the photographer Boniface Mwangi. He's one of the founders of Power 254.
All right.
So there's more innovations and more opportunities coming up for new and young innovators to experiment in and to also engage and share with collaborate with other developers.
And what does it take in terms of, maybe I'm a young upcoming individual, I know I can come up, I'm very innovative, and I know you are inspiring some of our viewers right now. They're listening to you and they're thinking, oh yeah, I can do that. What does it really take as an individual to get there?
Well, I would say your own determination is the biggest thing.
Okay.
Number 2, discipline. If you choose you want to do something, it doesn't mean when it becomes hard you drop off. Yeah. It means when it becomes hard you persevere and you make it through.
All right.
Besides that, I think nothing should stop you.
Nothing should stop you.
Yes.
All right. So I know that you are taking care of the social media in terms of helping the Office of the Vice President. At this point, we are at that point of people are taking in more information from the social media than the main media streams. What do you think, is this a threat to the social, in terms of the main media? Because we've always expected that they're the ones who are going to give us the breaking news. But now even before it comes to the main news, because it takes a whole process of production and everything. And people, and schedules. And people have it on their phones, they already know. So do you think this is a threat?
Well, I don't think it's a threat. I think it's a compliment.
All right.
It's the same thing. I think when TVs came up or radios came up, people thought newspapers were threatened. Yeah. But we still have newspapers. Okay. I think what is needed is creative ways of using old and new media together so that they complement each other. And I think even in Africa, in Kenya specifically, people like the nation media are using social media quite well. Yeah. They actually have a lot of the news, everything happening on their website and on their social media accounts way before the news time. Yeah. So you can actually live without ever watching the news and you know everything that's happening. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's not really a threat, it's more of a compliment.
All right. Yeah. And for people who are watching this from other countries and they know that they're in the industry of technology, maybe social media and stuff, and they want to also take their countries to the level that Kenya is in terms of where we are going with this technology and social media, what do you think really they need to work on? Is it they need to see whether they seek their government policies to be changed? Is it companies of technology that need to come up? What really is there? Is that thing that lacks, I guess?
Well, I think it starts with the school curricula.
Okay.
I think Kenyan universities have given technology a bigger part of their curricula than any other countries.
All right.
Second, I think, yes, the government policies. Like I said, the Kenya ICT Board has been instrumental in the growth that we've seen in the ICT industry in Kenya.
Yeah.
Besides that, also, the information is very open. It's not necessarily what you learned in class. I was last in a class in 2002.
Wow.
And I studied computer science.
Yeah.
I learned PHP. That time I was learning PHP 3, now it's PHP 6.
Yeah.
So technology has changed too much.
Yeah.
And if you actually want to stay in the know-how, you have to have to learn something new every day.
True.
And the fact that we have the world is just becoming a global village. So you can access all the resources that you can access in Kenya as you can access it even in New York.
True.
While I was in DC for the Wikipedia conference,
all right,
I met a group of an organization actually that has set up a free university online, and they're offering the 12 of the most common courses, including political science, computer science, mathematics, and all the courses are free. And right now I think they're working on getting certification. And I talked to them, actually we are going to try and set up a campus in Nairobi. Wow. Now, campus, by what I mean by campus is, it's online and it's free.
Yeah.
But then we have also connectivity challenges. It's not every household has connectivity. So what came to my head immediately was setting up a space where people can come in the evening.
Yeah.
After you've left your job, you can come and sit. We stream the lectures for free. They sit and go home.
Yeah.
And when you complete, we can book your exams, and you know.
Yeah, you can be able to sit.
So basically, there's a lot more, and also it comes from, you know, the people also need to feel like they're involved, and they also need to play their part.
Okay.
So you keep your eyes open for opportunities, and take advantage of them. Because for me, I think I always look at what can I do for my society, and when I saw that, I was so excited. I want to give more people more education.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't need education for certification.
Yeah.
Some people just want to know, and if you give me such a thing, I wouldn't need to go and pay school fees or struggle for school fees. I'll just sit in class, learn, and eventually use it in my life somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As we come to our closing, you are behind niaje.com, which is an entertainment website where people get updates of what is happening. Which leads me to ask you this question. Looking at the entertainment scene, having come here in New York, you can tell that entertainment runs everything.
Yes.
Do you think in Kenya we are headed that way? Do you feel that we will get to a place where even artists can actually depend on just all artists, maybe, even if, because here at least, even if you're not mainstream, you're underground, but you're making a living out of it. Do you feel that we are headed that way?
Yes,
even in Africa, sorry, in general, yeah.
I think we are, because our musicians are actually playing on the same level as other musicians. It's just that we have, of course, we still have a long way to go in terms of delivering the same quality and you know, the content that these people have here.
All right.
But that's because they have more advanced resources, and they have more to work with than just what we have. But in terms of technology, mainly in digital music distribution, not just music, actually, art distribution.
Yeah.
I think we're playing on the same level.
Yeah.
And I think recently I just saw a friend of mine called Bernard Kioko Bansoft.
Okay.
Just launched a platform where even young musicians, after you record, you can share your music on that platform, and all DJs can access the music.
Oh.
And you know, so it's easier to distribute your music to DJs and clubs and radio stations,
yeah,
as opposed to initially you have to know somebody who can go around, and even getting your song to be played is just altogether a big process.
True.
So I think we're headed there. We have young people with innovation, and I think if we take advantage of it, it's really going to take us far.
So technology is also playing a big part in this.
Yes.
True, it is.
It is.
All right, so thank you very much, David, for coming here to Sahara TV, and we hope you can come again and be able to give us an update on everything that is happening.
Well, I hope I can. This is New York, a million miles from home.
You will, for sure. All right, okay.